Welcome to Godly Play. We are glad that you are here. We invite you to get settled, take a couple deep breaths, and be ready for our story. This is the desert. It is not the whole desert. It is only a piece of the desert. We need part of the desert in our classroom because so many important things happen there to the people of God. The desert is a dangerous place. There is no food. There is no water. People die without food and water. Nothing grows there, so when the wind blows, the shape of the desert changes. People lose their way. The desert is a dangerous place. People do not go there unless they have to. It takes courage to go into the desert. The people of God were living in a place where the rains did not come. The crops had no water, so they could not grow. There was no grain to grind to make bread. Everyone was hungry. The children cried in their sleep. So their mothers and fathers decided to go to a new land where there was food. They had to go, even if it was across the desert. Their journey began. It was hard in the desert, but they kept going toward the land called Egypt. In the land of Egypt was a king called Pharaoh. And when the people came into the land of Egypt, they found food and work, but the Pharaoh trapped them. They could not go home again. They had to do what the Pharaoh said. They had to live where the Pharaoh said. They had to get up when the Pharaoh said. They had to go to bed when the Pharaoh said. They had to eat what the Pharaoh said. They had to do the work the Pharaoh said. They had to do everything the Pharaoh said. They were slaves. One of the people, whose name was Moses, came to Pharaoh and said, "Let my people go." Pharaoh said no. Moses went back many times to tell the Pharaoh to let his people go, but Pharaoh always said no. Then many strange things happened in the land, but the Pharaoh always said no. Then something terrible happened. The oldest boy in each Egyptian family, even in the family of the Pharaoh, died. The oldest boys in the family of the people of God did not die because the people made a mark on the doors of their houses. They put the blood of a lamb there, and the angel of death passed over them. When Moses went back this time and said, "Let my people go," Pharaoh said, "Yes." The people began to hurry to get everything ready. They packed all they could carry. They baked bread for the journey. There was no time to put leaven in the bread to let it sit so it would swell up and get big and fluffy like the bread you buy in the store. It was flat bread. The people went as fast as they could. They were afraid that the Pharaoh would change his mind. They hurried and hurried and hurried. Suddenly they heard a sound they did not want to hear. The ground began to shake. The Pharaoh's army was coming after them. The beating of the horses' hooves and the rolling of the chariots sounded like thunder. The army of the Pharaoh pushed the people against the water. They did not know what to do. God came so close to Moses, and Moses came so close to God that he knew how to take the people through the water to freedom. And so they all began to move. This one looks so scared he can barely move. This one is running. This one is happy. This one looks confused. And when all the people were safe on the other side, the water closed behind them, and they were free. The army of the Pharaoh could not get them. Now all of the people were free on the other side. They were so happy, they just had to give thanks to God. And Miriam led the dancing. Now I wonder what part of this story you liked best. I wonder what part of this story is the most important part. I wonder what part of the story is about you or who you are in the story. I wonder if there is any part of the story we can leave out and still have all the story we need.